July 11th, 2026. That's the date that the 21st Century Road to Housing Act became a law. What does it mean for home ownership? What does it mean for home buyers? What does it mean for the mortgage and real estate industries? Why did the president not sign it? And better yet, how does something become a law when the president doesn't sign the bill? We're going to discuss all of that and then some on today's episode. Check this out. They don't teach this shit in school, but they should. Welcome to the Loan Officer Podcast, hosted by me, Dustin Owen, one of the most influential people in the mortgage industry, along with my friends who've lived it, built it, failed at it, fixed it, and scaled it. This is not a show just for mortgage professionals. This is everything I learned because I became a mortgage loan originator. This is the Loan Officer Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and with me from the TLOP team, I got my right-hand man, Marketing Mike, and our producer extraordinaire. You call her Special K. We call her Karina Mojica. What up, y'all?
Nothing much.
Hey.
We are back at it, huh?
Another beautiful day.
Another hot-ass day in Central Florida.
I love the heat.
Bro, I went out for a run on Sunday.
Yeah.
My fault. I went at 10:30 a.m., which is just
that's-
absolutely sadistic of me.
You probably lost a lot of weight, water weight.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. Water weight came right back. But, yeah, I stayed out too late on Saturday. You ever do that sometimes? Stay out too late? Yeah, and I was really tired, so I slept in. I was slow moving, but I was like, hey, I had this Ironman I signed up for. I need to get after it. Holy shit, 92 degrees outside, 66% humidity.
That's wild.
No.
You wild.
I don't even know if you can say I ran it. Like you can say I completed.
Man.
I completed 2 hours
Yeah.
of movement. There was a run for 6, walk for 1, run for 6, walk for 1. Yeah, it was rough out there.
I'm a runner now. I know that.
Yeah, you and your runner's knee. But, I mean, it's like hot everywhere.
Yeah.
I was in Denver last month, 90-some degrees.
Yeah.
I was in Cody, Wyoming, freaking 90-some degrees. Chicago, Illinois.
My pool is like 92.
Like, you peed in it?
No, like you would think.
Yeah.
You would think that's how hot it is outside. The pool is 92
Yeah, that's
degrees.
crazy.
It's not even refreshing.
I didn't know pool coolers existed.
They do?
What? There's a pool cooler?
Like
Yeah.
an ice? Oh, my cold plunge has one of those.
But like you can like circulate
there's
your
a
water
heater,
to cool
but
it down like it's
yeah,
going through an
'cause it's
AC
too
unit
hot.
with Freon.
That's what I
I
need.
luckily don't have that issue because my backyard is like
You have a
it's-
screen.
Well, I have a screen, but it's also eastern exposure. So
Oh, yeah,
so
okay.
like it gets the sun in the morning.
Yeah, there you go.
But by the time noon comes, the sun's no longer on the pool.
Did you know that when you bought it? Were you intentional about that?
Bro, no.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like,
way.
ooh, that's pretty cool.
Not one bit.
That's calculated.
No, because
Right.
they're like that means in April it's still pretty chilly.
Yeah.
Right, so like sometimes you're like, oh, April, I'd like to get in the pool, and like, ooh, it's gonna like take the breath
Yeah,
out of you.
right.
So, you know what took the breath out of me?
What?
This housing bill.
Yeah.
This housing
Good
bill,
one.
the 21st Century Road to Housing Act.
Yes.
Yeah, this is being labeled as some of the biggest legislation to be passed since 1990.
Yeah.
Karina wasn't even thought about. In 1990.
That's wild. That's
You-
when
were
I
you
was,
born
I was
90?
born in 90.
You were born in
That's
1990.
wild. Wow.
I was in middle school in 1990.
That's cool. Were you a cool kid?
I've always kind of been
Been the cool kid? Okay.
Yeah, like
Me too.
you know, I was never like the coolest because like I was still in the gifted program. Right? So
Yeah.
you still had that stigma.
You had bright red hair too, I would bet.
no.
Oh, you didn't have red hair? That's like a new
No,
thing?
No red hair. In my beard.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little ginger up in the beard. That's because
Yeah.
the ladies like it.
Yeah.
And then the minute the ladies stopped liking the ginger, I decided to let it start going a little white.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it looks cool.
Distinguished. It's
Yeah.
my distinguished
That's
look.
right. You're seasoned.
No, I was white blonde. Like my daughter, like
Okay.
my wife, white blonde hair.
Yeah.
And then as puberty started to hit, that white turned into like an auburn, and then quickly the auburn turned into brown.
Mm.
And then quickly the brown said, I'm not down with brown, and they got out, which meant my hair follicles just stopped like producing.
Yeah.
And then I started getting some thinning hair, and by the
That's-
time I was like 24, I was like off.
And
with the head.
that's the story.
You got bald. You weren't bald at 24?
I mean, I got pictures of me at my wedding where the photographer was up on a balcony shooting down, and we're like, "Hey, what's that little shiny spot?"
Oh my gosh.
Do you like being called bald or hairless?
Whatever floats your boat. Like whatever sounds sexy.
I don't know. I feel like
that's
when
what
I call
wanna
someone
be.
bald, I feel like it's offensive.
I'm hairless, like a hairless cat.
Yeah.
What do you like? Does it make you feel offended?
Bro, I
if
used to
say
shave
bald?
my head in high school because I played football and baseball.
Oh my God.
Where I wore helmets all the time.
I was gonna say though, it's a good look for you.
It
Not
works,
everybody
right?
looks good bald.
I mean, I don't have a choice.
Right.
I mean, I guess I could go to like Turkey and
Turkey
get
and
some
get
hair
the.
plants.
I heard there's a cheap one in Miami. My buddy was just telling me. I couldn't believe it.
I just even when I had hair, it wasn't good hair.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, oh, look at his. Like my kids.
Yeah.
This is where I think there is a God, because
Tell us how you really feel.
I got shit hair. I'm talking like
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
Like my dad used to say, like hair from a monkey's ass. Like that was it was like a Brillo pad that somebody glued to my top of my head.
Gosh.
And then but my kids,
Yeah.
both of them could be hair models.
They
Like,
have good
both-
hair. I was gonna say.
They have phenomenal hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. But their coloring, their texture.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how we got this hair. How did we go from 21st century
I don't know, but welcome to the Loan Officer Podcast today,
Yeah.
folks.
to hair? But we are going to be dissecting.
Yes.
You have your notes. I have my notes.
Yes.
Like we're going to dissect this bill. That I know is we talked about 1990 in middle school, and are you a cool kid? I'm like, yeah,
know.
I would like to think so. I'm sure there's plenty of people who disagree.
Why don't you drop a comment if you disagree?
No, I mean,
If you knew- no, if
I
you
mean,
knew-
it'd be
if you
the
knew
kids that
Dustin.
like went to school with me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, not that kid. He's a dork. He's a nerd. He's a wannabe. He's a tryhard. He's a poser.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of that. But
We all have it.
I tended to get along with most people. Was friends with many friend groups.
Yeah.
And there was rarely a social setting that I was not included nor a part of.
Yeah. there you
Right.
go.
So
That was a great political answer.
there we go. That's the truth,
Very
man.
good.
That's the truth. Look, speaking of the truth, we're going to dive into this bill.
Yeah, let's dive into it for
We're
real.
going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep.
What makes it so, oh my God, the legislation hasn't passed something like the legislature, right? The House, the Senate, eventually the president, although he didn't really do a whole lot, but he also didn't get in the way, meaning no vetoes. How did this become a law? What does it mean for us in the future? What do we need to know as loan originators? What do we need to know as a homeowner, a home buyer, or a real estate agent? We are going to break that down as soon as we come back. But first, a message from today's show sponsor. Check this out. Y'all, something big is happening at Lower Mortgage. And if you're paying attention to this industry, you've probably noticed. In just the last month alone, Lower has added some serious horsepower. We're talking top producers representing over $350 million in volume. These aren't rookies kicking tires. These are heavy hitters who've done their homework and made the move. That should tell you something. On top of that, Lower just acquired Movoto, a top 5 real estate portal with over 150 visitors just last year. Before that, they brought in Neat Labs, and now they're launching Lower OS, a next-gen mortgage platform that's cutting loan delivery times down to 10 days. This isn't a company standing still. Lower doubled their volume last year, and they're projecting another 40 to 50% growth this year. The best in the business are taking notice, and they're voting with their feet. Here's the reality. The companies that are going to win in this market are the ones investing in technology, building real infrastructure, and competing at scale. Lower is doing all of that. They're going head to head with the Rockets of the world, and they're built for originators, not against them. If you're a producer who wants to be a part of something that's actually going somewhere, not just surviving, but growing, this is the moment. Lower Mortgage, the momentum is real. All right, so we're back. It's funny because I said to you the other day, I said, hey, Mike, I want to do an episode on the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. You're like, huh?
Yeah. And then I researched it and thought, oh yeah, there's a lot of chatter about this right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I just didn't know the name of it.
I mean, it's July like 21st or something right now.
Yeah.
So we'll be dropping this in July. This shit just finally passed.
Yep.
And we haven't really covered it.
No.
And I figured, well, why not? You know what? We just create some content. People look to us to be the subject matter expert and to lean on us. So I'm going to break it down. I'd love for you to interject and either ask questions or offer your own 2 cents. But the first thing I'd like to answer for anybody is like, they're asking, well, what makes it the most, like the biggest since 1990. Like what makes it that? Honestly, in my opinion, it's both Democrats and Republicans got behind this bill, and they came up with it together, and they passed it overwhelmingly together. Like, this was bipartisan support. It shows us what's possible when people quit being polarizing and fanatical and just do what's right and what makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, that to me, and I think when you look at the magnitude of everything that was included in the bill.
Well, yeah, like the institutional piece of it, like it banning the institutional investors that 300, if they have 350 units or above, banning them from buying the single family homes. That's the piece that I was following in all of this. I think that's monumental.
Yeah, it's interesting.
For the government to step in.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You and I getting to talk about this right now because, you know, if any one of us were going to lean more moderate, it'd be me.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Absolutely.
I lean hard moderate.
Yeah.
And I'd be the first to say, but isn't that defying capitalism? Like, isn't that defying capitalism when you are going to say as a government to a business entity, you can't do that?
Yeah.
Now, do I like it? Yes, I do like it. Do I think those entities are going to be punitively harmed because of this? Hell to the no. But in reality, when you look at how many institutional investors there actually are, this impacts so few neighborhoods.
I think it was 36,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Oh no, they bought just under 36,000.
But even look at the markets.
Yeah.
There's only like a handful of markets that this truly impacts. Top of my head, Atlanta, Detroit, and Phoenix. Okay, but you know, as someone who wants to purchase a home, heck, even as somebody who wants to build their own investment portfolio, it's nice letting the little guy be able to win.
Yeah.
So yes, outside looking in, it sounds amazing, and it's going to sound even more amazing on the campaign trail when you tell your constituents or your prospective voters that I stood up against Big Bad Wolf and I passed this, and because I passed this, then more homes are going to be available to you because less institutional investors are going to be buying the homes.
Yeah.
That to me was a political win. I don't think it's a real win when you study the data. For the average home buyer, homeowner, and the average consumer in most markets. Now, maybe there's 3 out of 100 top 100 markets that it does benefit. And for those 3 markets and those hundreds of thousands of citizens, kudos to you. But for the census, it's not as impactful as it appears on paper.
Well, the bill attacks supply. I mean, that's really what it
The
is going after.
The bill is attempting to create more supply. You are correct. Yeah, like if we're looking for positives right now, let's start with the positives. Sure. Institutional bans, meaning that one entity cannot own more than 350 units, is huge. Now, you do know there's carve-outs, right? So, like, if Karina wants to go build 1,000 homes all for rent, she can do that.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing preventing Karina from going out and acquiring a ton of land, building thousands of single-family homes for the sole purpose of rent. It's called BTR, Born to Rent. Built to rent. BTR is what we call someone with a 485 credit score and no money in the bank. They're BTRs. They're born to rent.
Yeah.
This is actually BTR built to rent.
Yeah.
It's actually BTR for BTR.
Yeah.
There's entities and corporations that are building to rent for those that are born to rent.
Yeah.
So there's a carve out.
But that protects capitalism, to your point earlier.
Yeah, okay.
It kind of allows, I mean, that was the check and balance.
Yeah, I like that. I like your take on that. And there's also this one.
Yeah.
Manufactured housing. The biggest win in all of this are the men and women who play in that manufactured or modular housing space. But on the institutional ban, meaning a ban on institutional investors, not only is there a carve out for built to rent, did it twice now, built to rent, but also there's a carve out for you can own as many mobile homes and modular homes as you would like.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll have to watch that, but definitely some positives. I'll speak to this positive. This bill makes financing of mobile homes way easier.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It opens up way more inventory because it removes some of the handcuffs and the restrictions specifically that were put on through HUD when utilizing FHA financing.
Right.
So I think that's a win
That's a big deal.
as long as you either play in that space as a mortgage professional or real estate agent, or you're a home buyer or potential home buyer who wants to and is willing to own and live in manufactured housing and modular, then there's going to be more financing available to you.
Right.
Definitely a positive there. There's some things that the residential mortgage industry won't necessarily see through, meaning that they won't see the positivity because maybe they're not accustomed to this, but they have increased the loan limits for multifamily
For FHA.
Yeah. So because you can go to HUD as an apartment complex
Yep.
developer,
Yep.
and you can utilize HUD financing. However, those maximum loan amounts have been stuck where they're stuck for decades. Well, now by increasing them, it allows more apartments to be built.
Right.
More apartments being built definitely opens up more inventory. That then puts less of a restraint on single family rentals, at which point, if you're an owner of a single family rental and you're not able to collect as much rent, you may sell more of your rentals. If you sell more of your rentals, then there's a good chance that you'll add more inventory to the market.
Yeah.
And more inventory is what we need in order to stop prices from going up.
Right.
Right. So that would definitely be a positive that we could look at. But I'm gonna tell you this, overall, there's not that much more positive to come from this law that the media and the politicians who put it together, and definitely those are going to be campaigning here August, September, October for the big November elections, they're going to want us to believe that this was bigger and better than it actually is.
Yeah, because it doesn't immediately help rates.
No.
Right? The big conversation, rates.
It doesn't make homeownership more affordable.
Right.
It doesn't make homeownership more attainable, with the exception of if you want to buy a mobile home or modular home.
TLOP Unite is not your typical mortgage event. This is the first ever TLOP cruise experience built exclusively for originators. And for 4 days, it's not about the speakers, it's about you. We're talking breakout strategy sessions, real conversations, curated events, and uninterrupted access to a community that helps you grow. If you're serious about taking your career to the next level, this is where you need to be. Space is limited and the price is right. So click the link now and learn more.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting interest rates down, there's nothing in this legislation, or better yet,
It's more a long-term bill. I mean, this was not made for immediate relief.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
It almost wasn't made for immediate release. And by the way, the president totally supported this.
Yeah.
Side note, I know I talked about this in the opening, but he kind of had his feelings hurt and his panties in the wad because he's not getting some of the legislation pushed through that he wants regarding voter access.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I'm mad at you, so I'm not coming to your party. I know I helped you plan the party. I know I told you the party was a good idea. I even helped you pick out the menu and the entertainment, but I'm not coming because I'm just mad at you right now. So he was mad.
That's his process.
He was mad at the House and the Senate.
Yeah.
So because of that, he refused to sign the bill, but he also refused to veto it.
Yeah.
Which in our lawmaking, in the Constitution, it basically states, I'm gonna paraphrase here, if the president neither signs nor vetoes after a certain time period, then the inaction, it allows it to become law.
Yeah.
So it basically became law without him vetoing it because he didn't want to veto it. But at the same time, he was throwing a temper tantrum and refused to say yes to it. But no, when I look at it, outsider looking in, insider looking out, whichever direction I want to look at the law, I was like, okay, we don't address interest rates. And I'm fine with that. The only way you address interest rates is how the Federal Reserve did over the past decade or two, and it's through manipulation and the purchasing of mortgage-backed securities. And so I'm happy with us not making rates cheaper.
Right.
Because I think long term, someone has to pay that price. And I hope I'm alive when this happens. But at the same time, I'm not looking forward to it. I know my kids aren't looking forward to having to pay the piper.
Right.
And we've been doing a lot of borrowing as a country, all administrations for decades now.
39.5 trillion.
Yeah. So
That's the national debt right now.
you know, so
today.
it's I was fine with that. You know, what I would have liked to have seen have happen in something like this is they put no money behind this. If you look in it,
Right.
there's no budget. Now, with 39.5 trillion deficit, you would say, well, we ain't got no money.
Right.
Right? But then it's like, okay, but does this bill really have any teeth if we're not doing something to make homeownership more affordable, whether it's through down payment assistance, right? Oh, well, if we make a national down payment assistance, would we get more people willing to buy homes? Could we make homeownership more affordable? My take, this is what I would want, and I still want it. I think if we can do something to eliminate capital gains tax on properties for a short period of time, 2 years, 3 years max, I think that's the stimulus we need to get this inventory back on the market. That's the issue we have. We do not have enough inventory available to those that want to buy it. We just don't. Boomers holding on to their properties. Boomers own multiple properties. Right. Even investors, whether you own 5 homes or you own 500 homes, I promise you, if you go to some of us investors and you're like, hey, bro, you don't have to pay capital gains tax for the next 2 or 3 years on these properties that you sell, you're going to see us unload these properties. Even small things, which I know my friends in California have been pushing, like this bill doesn't address, Mike, you could have bought your home in 1997, at 7 years of age, and in 2027, you want to sell it. Well, you bought the home for $400,000. You're selling the home for $1.8 million. Well, right now you would have profited $1.4. So the tax code lets you eliminate $500,000 of that 1.4 as taxable, but you still have $900,000 of taxable income.
Yeah.
At a 15% tax rate, I mean, you're looking at a $135,000 tax bill. Guess what you're doing? Double middle fingers. I'm not selling my home. Well, that sucks because there's some 36-year-old who just got married, who just got promoted and would love to own that home. And they'd pay you your $1.8 million for it.
Yeah.
Except you won't get rid of it. So I wish the 21st Century Road to Housing Act would have addressed that. The other thing that it didn't address, if we're looking at supply, we have a supply issue.
Yeah.
We don't only have a demand issue. We definitely have an affordability issue.
Yeah.
But the way you solve for affordability is to make supply
Increase supply.
Increase supply. Yeah, I mean, that's supply and demand.
Yep.
Increase supply. You'll have less people chasing more product. Therefore, that product sells for less money.
Exactly.
Well, nothing in this legislation addresses truly making new construction more affordable. Right? Like, there's nothing making labor more affordable. There's nothing making lumber more affordable. And most of building in the codes that really either restrict building or make building expensive is localized to the city or the county. Right? So that's the municipality level.
Right.
And I've said this for years on this show. There's not a whole lot that DC can do to Main Street. Right? DC going into Main Street trying to tell your town, your village, your city, your county what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Those counties and those municipalities are going to give double middle fingers. So, we'll watch this going forward, but I'm just not seeing anything overnight that's going to be a big win. Now, we can talk more about small wins. There's some benefits on the appraisal front on both FHA and VA. Like, that's a nice win internally. I don't think if Main Street's going to be able to truly experience that, but there's some things that, whether it's appraisal transparency, whether it's disputing appraisals, whether it's making it easier for somebody to enter into the appraisal industry. Yeah. There's definitely some legislation in here that helps that out as well. But overall, I'm not seeing this as a major win.
No, I agree. I think my take on it is the same. It'll be a long burn. It'll be a slow burn to get supply up, and hopefully prices come down. That's all we can hope for.
Well, I think that's the name of the game.
It's a step in the right direction.
Correct. I mean, look, the fact that we got 500 and plus people, I don't know who voted, who was absent. I mean, right now we got a senator who's dead, but he's really not dead, plus another one who did die, and we know he died, and others that don't show up to work, and whatever the case may be. But we know we got 500 people, at least, in the room together, negotiating, agreeing upon, and supermajority approving. That's a win.
Yeah, it's big.
And
it says that houses are for people, not corporations.
Yes,
right?
Houses are for people and not for corporations. Everything else we have to sit back and monitor. But what are we really looking for? No, if you want to get homeownership more available and more affordable, again, there's some things we can do with that capital gains tax that I think would work. But let's take that off the table. If none of that transpires, then what we're rooting for is wages to go up, home prices to stay stable, and rates to maybe tick down into the fives, but into the fives. Like, we're not talking going from 6.75 down to 4.75.
But we're still the lowest in it. Remember on that one episode we went through that? We're still the lowest. We have the lowest interest rates in most of like the history of our country right now.
Yes.
Like, they're high, but they're not crazy.
6.75. I mean, I was slinging 6.75 to 7.5 all throughout 2004, 5, 6.
We got to get supply up.
7,
so
8.
Prices come down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. So ways that we can get more supply, but then you're going to have to be able to look at zoning. You're going to have to look at land use. Yeah. We have to find a way to get cheap labor. I mean, cheap labor typically comes from some kind of immigration reform or immigration policy. We need cheap materials as well. I mean, we have to find a way to get cheap lumber, or to somehow come up with a lumber-like product that we can manufacture on the cheap.
It's a multifaceted problem, like in different verticals.
Yes.
It would take a lot.
Yeah, there is no overnight fix to this. I appreciate our Congress people and our senators, and I appreciate them, getting together, getting along, and actually sticking up for the people they serve. Unfortunately, I don't want to call it a nothing burger, but man, it's like you ordered a main course and they brought you the smallest appetizer.
If you're a licensed originator who's closing loans, but you're not consistent, this is for you. If you're brand new or just looking for motivation, trust me, this is not for you. Most LOs don't need more information. They need structure. They need proven processes and somebody to hold them accountable. T-Lob's Originator Coaching gives you weekly live coaching, scripts top producers actually use, and step-by-step business systems you can implement immediately. Not someday, we're talking day one. You're not watching videos alone. You're executing in real time with other originators who take this seriously. Right now, you can try it free for 2 weeks. That's 2 full weeks for free. You'll sit in on live coaching calls. You'll get access to the frameworks and see exactly how top producers run their business. If it creates clarity, if it creates momentum, or even if it puts wins on the board, you keep going. If it doesn't, no worries, you can cancel. No pressure at all. Click the link, start the 2-week trial, and finally, build this like a business, not a side hustle.
And said, here you go. Hope it tastes good. Let me know if it fills you up. And you're like, look, it didn't taste bad, but this thing's nowhere close to filling me up. Continue to monitor. I encourage everyone who's listening today to study the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. Come up with your own assessment. We did our best to make this light, entertaining, and bring you the hot spots. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 pieces that when you dig into it, maybe it resonates for you. How you run your business are very specific to your market. Just know this: if you're waiting for help to be on the way, you're still waiting. No part of this is an instant shot in the arm. We're not going to see anything do a 180 and poof, things get better.
Yeah. So tell your buyers, just buy.
Look,
just buy the house.
At the end of the day, you're going to buy homes.
If you're ready to buy a
If you're ready to buy a house. Death, divorce,
Yeah.
diapers, diamonds. We're talking about all the D's.
70? How many D's?
Oh, dude, I can go into the debt. If you're in too much debt, you can sell your home to tap in your equity to pay off your debt. If you sell your home, that creates inventory. How about deployment? You're in the military, you get deployed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can keep going. But yeah, they used to like the 4 Ds, the 5 Ds.
Yeah, right.
Diapers means you had a baby.
Yep.
Diploma means you just graduated. Diploma could mean your kids just graduated, so now you're like in my phase of life where you're like, I don't need this big ass house. Let's sell it. Let's downsize. Let's move downtown. I don't need to be in the suburbs.
Cash out. Be nice if there was no capital gain tax. Like
Right? Well, I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
yeah.
I bought for $390. I'll probably sell for somewhere around $810.
Yeah.
So when I do the math, I'm gonna be good on that.
Yep.
Now I have a rental property that I'm gonna pay capital gains tax on that, but I think that one I bought for $180. I'll sell for $320. So it won't be that punitive. But yeah, but the D's, the diapers, the diamonds, the diplomas, the deaths, the debt, the deployment.
Yeah.
And deployment could also be like job transfer.
And you have none of those, Karina.
Yeah, no.
So she's not.
I
so
was
you're
just
not
gonna say-
ready.
But
I
do
saw
you
the
want
other-
any?
Diamonds?
I mean, yeah, I'll take the time.
Yeah.
I just saw a post the other day that said the average age for people just below, or
Oh.
I think people, 40,
buy.
right, to buy a house. Like,
Is what?
Yeah.
Is 40.
It's interesting.
The
Yeah. So
average
Bought a house at
age on your
26.
first house.
yeah, the average age of a first time home buyer has been widely accepted has gone up from 36 to 39 all the way to 40. It's interesting. I wish I would have saved it, but I didn't. We're going to go off on a tangent here, but I actually read a counter to that says that data is flawed, and really the average age of a first time home buyer is less than that.
Yeah.
But
I think so.
It said like people who are like below 30 or something, like some high percentage are all still living with their parents, like because of how hard shit is now.
yeah.
So it just,
That's wild.
Yep.
Poor
But
kids.
at the end of, but at the end of the
Free
day, I
us.
mean, look, I was just at a wedding and they just bought a house and they're both 26 or 26.
Yeah, that's when I bought 26.
Yeah,
So it's-
two school teachers, but I bet of their friend group, they may be on the higher end, right?
Yeah.
Like my niece is 29, she'll be 30 this year. She doesn't own a home, but her one best friend just bought her first house. And her other best friend just got married. So I think when you're just getting married or just starting your family at 30,
right.
then in most cases it takes dual income in order to afford
Absolutely.
a house in most markets. Well, if you're delaying dual income, right? I mean, a lot of us were dual income at 22, 23, 24. I was married at 23,
Yeah.
right? So I was dual income at 23, started my family at 25. It would make sense for me to also own my home by 26,
Yeah.
right? That was just kind
Yeah,
of
that's
the
probably the main point too. Like
We've
if
always
you're
been single.
yeah.
We've always been single income, me and Ari.
If you're
We had a
single,
minute.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be a struggle.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming to hang out with me. Hey, team, thanks for coming to hang out with us. I don't know if you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or Apple, but we say thank you. By all means, if you're watching us, feel free to load up the comment section there on YouTube. Click that subscribe button.
Smash it.
Smash it. But if you're tuning in on Spotify or Apple, give us a 5-star review. That's how we can let other people know that content like this does not suck. We appreciate everything that you mean to us and everything that we mean to you. She's Karina. He's Mike. I'm Dio. That is all the time we have for you today. You've just tuned into the Loan Officer Podcast. We do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.